Hey everyone, you're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two romance-loving best friends recap kissing books for you with our own comedic flair. This is the start of our winter hiatus. For the next 4 weeks, Aaron and I are taking a bit of a podcast snoozer. We're reading whatever the hell we want, planning some fun things to come, and taking deep, cleansing breaths to prepare for remembering things in 2021. It's going to be a hardship. During this time, we're going to be re-releasing some of our favorite episodes from our back catalog. These might be episodes we have fond memories of, or episodes that started inside jokes that have become shorthand, that sort of thing. Patrons, never fear. We will still have some new content for you this month. So, first up, we've got part 1 of The Covert Captain, or A Marriage of Equals by Jeanelle M. Ferreira. You'll find part 2 already waiting for you in our back catalog, which is episode 105. Take care of yourselves, HBs. That's what we're doing. Hello, Aaron.
Melody.
Yeah.
What's up?
Oh, man. What is up? I'm thinking about getting my IUD yoinked out.
Guys, listener, I just want you to know, this isn't like we're like for the pie. This is really how Melody starts conversations. This isn't like we have notes beforehand and we're like, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. You could call Melody on the phone and you'd be like, hey, what's up? And she'd be like, thinking about getting that IUD yoinked out.
That's right. I'm thinking about pull the trigger.
Well, you know my experience with an IUD.
Yeah.
Poked right on through that uterus. So,
yeah. Oof.
So, yeah, I say take them all out.
Yep.
It's not a different bodies, different, just eradicate them all. It poked through my uterus, so they should all die.
Yeah,
What's
fair.
Up? The IUDs, not women. What's up? What's happening?
Glad you made that clarification.
I didn't want anyone thinking I meant they should all die.
Fair.
About women. You never know.
Not about the women's.
No.
So, no, you know what? It's just them.
Are you having another... We cannot have another baby.
No! Aaron! No. How dare you even put that into the universe?
On us.
No. Shop's closed. No.
Oh, God. Okay.
No,
good.
I'm not trying to get knocked up again. No.
Okay. Whew. Scared me.
Yeah, I got the IUD because I needed a long-term form of birth control. I've had it now for, I guess 5 months, which doesn't seem like a super long time in IUD land. And that's sort of why I've been holding out. But I got it because I get like PMDD symptoms. When I go premenstrual, but I get like down. It is not good.
What do you mean? I haven't noticed these symptoms. Please tell me.
Shut up, Aaron.
Oh,
yeah. What?
Is that the case?
Ooh. Yes.
Sorry.
But the problem that I've been having, because I was like, all right, hormonal IUD. Once I stop spotting, I won't have a period ever again. And I was doing my whole, goddamn jubilant celebration, and I jubilized too soon. I'll tell you that much. Because lately, sorry, listener, I've been spotting for like 2 weeks nonstop. And that just means that instead of having no period or having like frequent periods, I'm just like PMDD for 2 weeks straight.
Did you get the copper kind? What'd you get?
No, I got the hormonal because the hormonal will like stop you from doing that, and supposedly will like fix your hormonal fluctuations.
Yeah, I had the copper one.
Yeah. So I'm still on the fence because they say that at first it's a hard transition and then it gets better. But like, is 5 months not long enough? I ask you.
Well, according to the Army, the Army wouldn't take mine out until at least 6 months because they said that my extreme debilitating cramping was probably due to the side effects.
I can't even.
So I know that it's 6 months is what the label says on the side of the IUD.
All right. Maybe I'll hold out for a little while longer.
I'm not saying, listen, I'm all for yanking them out. Yank him out.
That's right.
Get him out of there.
Throw him in the fire. Get you a cooey and have it.
Use the rhythm method if you
out.
have to. Get it out of there.
I can't believe you didn't hear my Ice Planet Barbarian.
I did. I heard it. Yeah.
And then you just...
There it is. Splat.
All right. Well, we have to talk about more lady things today.
Is that what happened in this book?
Okay.
No.
I know.
I'm sorry. Do you know?
Wait, first of all, listener, we are talking about The Covert Captain by Jeanelle M. Ferreira.
I'll have you know that when I do that, you're like, there's an intro, Erin. Why are you?
No, I know. Oh, no, you're totally right.
Mm-hmm.
What a dummy.
Yes. Yeah.
What a dummy.
Yeah, what a dummy. Yes, that's what we're talking about. What happens in it?
Listen. Okay, so Erin, I have done a thing. Because...
I don't know what plot is. I don't know what it is.
I had a really tough time. And I told you about this a couple of weeks ago because we read it and then we were like, oh, we have a break. I got the order mixed up is what happened. So I started reading this book early. Mm-hmm. And then I started reading it and I was like, oh my God, maybe the Audible will help. So I got the audiobook.
I did the same thing.
Did you? Oh my God. And that made it worse, right? Yeah. So then I talked to Erin and I was like, honestly, Erin, this book is so England Times. I don't think I know what's going on.
I got the Audible because I thought that like the words on the page that like I didn't know what they were because they were so weird to me that sometimes when I read them and I was like, that word isn't a real word, then I would sound it out and then I'd be like, oh, that word is old-timey, this word. And so I thought, oh, the Audible will help me.
Yeah.
Because she will say the words and then I will be able to associate them with what real words.
Sure.
It didn't help.
And it didn't do that for me.
You know why? Pronouns confused the fuck out of me in this book.
That was
once you switch to the Audible, because there are parts of this book that are in italics. And are like flashbacks. And in those parts, they use different pronouns for the same character who's masquerading as a man. And so I would just be like, are we in italics or did they just get in trouble? I don't understand because it's in the war. The italics are in the war. I'm doing a bad job already. And we're only however many, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, you said you did a thing. So, was it taking notes, I hope?
Because... I did take notes. Yeah. No worries. No worries.
All right.
No, but also... There's been a time, or maybe a few times in the history of this podcast, in which I have been a little bit, I don't know, perhaps smug about my England Times knowledge, little as it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I'm thinking back specifically to like, I think when you first started explaining England Times to me, I think it was during the Duke and I episode, and I was like, well, this is a Regency era, blah, blah, blah.
You were real smug about it.
I really was.
Think this kind of dress, not that kind of dress. And I'm like, I don't fucking care what kind of dress it turns out. Unless it matters, to the plot.
So, I have been put in my place, and as a result, I have written you a formal apology in the form of a spoken word poem. So here you go.
Melody,
Are you ready?
You know how I hate a spoken word poem.
Listen, I'm apologizing, and you will take it in the way I give it.
We'll see.
Okay, here we go. Whence I did lay my eyes upon these 233 pages of florid prose, many a time, I knew not what in the sweet fuck was happening between any character or place. For in England Times it was written, and for England Times eyes and ears was it, perhaps, meant only. There may be humor hidden within, but I could not grasp it with my desperate claws, nor could I discern anything that might put a spark betwixt my nethers, though I did search
That's
sharpish.
Firefly. That's not England. It's Firefly, you know it.
Fuck you!
And some of this is just Yoda.
Shut up!
Keep going. Keep going.
For in England Times I am deaf and blind, and in smattering French am I even further mired in depths of most arduous confusion. So thusly, and hereupon too, never again smug nor gloating shall I be. And fiend.
I accept it. I accept
Thank you.
There are so many things in there in that poem that I want to pull out and comment on. There are times in this book where characters are dying laughing, and I have no idea clue why. There are times in this book where characters are speaking French, and I didn't think they were French. Why are they French?
And they talk about how much they hate the frogs, and they've just come back from some sort of Napoleonic war.
Is that what frogs mean? Yes! Oh my god! Sometimes they're like, oh, leave it to the frogs. Oh, let the frogs have them. And I'm like, God, they're weird about frogs.
Ribbit.
Splash up the first time I'm like, what a weird England times he's saying. Whatever, leave it to the frogs. Cheese on toast. Whatever, fuck it. Then, like, the 7th time, I was just like, this author has a fascination with frogs.
Listen, you guys, I didn't know what was going on a lot, so I hope that my notes are accurate to what happened in the plot. I honestly don't know. It was so England times. I couldn't. I didn't know.
The words aren't words. The words aren't words. One time, somebody mentions the Batman. Did you notice that?
What? No.
Batman. Like Batman.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. And I was like,
this is something about the Batman.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. What could that possibly mean?
A man with a bat? Like with a bat. You know, like a bat, bat not a flutter bat. Maybe a cricket bat. Was cricket a thing?
I watched
I don't know.
all of Downton Abbey, and I don't claim to remember a lot of the words, but I feel like one of those downstairs people would have been a Batman.
I mean, she's gotta be. There's a footman, you know? How could you not have a Batman? A Batman. Batman. Alfred, get me my grilled cheese.
They don't have grilled cheese. They had cheese on toast.
I'm sorry. You're so right. Anyway, okay. So this is a book
written by a time traveler.
She is. She's incredible.
I checked to see if this was a book that was actually written in Regency times. And this is a book about lesbians, you guys. And I checked to see if it was written in old-timey England times. Because it was so Englandy. This woman, there's one of two things.
Okay.
This woman must have a PhD in England times.
Right.
And on top of that, want to research every single teeny tiny crumpet of England times.
Which is
and
bread.
Spell all the words.
Talia Hibbert taught us that. Sorry.
Great. What was it?
Crumpets are bread. Talia Hibbert taught us that. Did.
Okay. But like every little crumpet crumb and then spell all the words just like they would have been spelled back then. And she's like really fascinated by that. Or we have a time traveler.
I know.
And based on this book and my experience reading it, I feel like the latter is more probable.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Time traveler.
Agree.
All right.
Okay, so also, Erin mentioned it before, but this is a lady book, but for roughly half of it, we're in Harriet's perspective. And Harriet is the cis-presenting woman in the book, where and when it's from her perspective, until like halfway through the book, the other woman has presented herself as a man.
Right.
So we are going to use the pronouns that they use in the time that they use it. So if Nora Nathaniel, that's one of the characters, is Nora Nathaniel. And when she has flashbacks, she thinks of herself, or like when we're in her inner monologue, she thinks of herself in she, her pronouns.
Right.
However, when Harriet thinks of her, Harry is her nickname.
Come on. Why
give the other one a
male name?
I know.
Anyway, sorry. Harriet, Harry.
So when she thinks of Nathaniel, that's who she knows Nora as at first, she thinks in he pronouns, and that is what we are going to do until that changes.
But then is it not true that once she figures it out, she thinks of her in she pronouns?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Once she figures it out, she does think of her in she pronouns, but she does every once in a while, especially when they're in public, she refers to her as man all the time. So, like, she'll say, like, at one point, she refers to Nora as her Lord Captain when they're like, putting on their wedding clothes. Spoiler alert, you guys. So, like, at that point, she
You just spoiled it for me.
I know. So she calls her like Madam and Nora and she, her, until she addresses her as Captain. And then that is, of course, the he. Anyway, okay. So we open up in chapter 1 and we start in Nora's inner monologue. And it's a flashback to her being in war times. But she is talking about herself as a she, even though she's like commanding men and like, you know, she's doing the whole thing. Then she gets woken up out of this dream and somebody is calling down to her, her former superior officer, Sherborne, but she often refers to him as Sherry. Everybody refers to him as Sherry. It's very confusing.
Is he an earl? What is he? What's his deal?
He is he's a major and also an earl. Yes.
Okay, he is both a major and an earl.
Yes, because he's the second son, but older son died. So then the soldier became the earl when he didn't expect to. He was the soldier first.
I can't wait for you to tell me all about this book that I read almost twice.
I know, it was so hard. Okay. So Sherry brings Nathaniel down. Nathaniel gets back into his Nathaniel headspace.
Okay.
And he comes back down the stairs, gets introduced to Sherry's sister, Harriet.
May I read the part where he's called down?
Yes.
Nathaniel, the major earl. Nope.
No, Sherry.
Shelbourne. Sherborne. Sherhorn. Yes. The major earl says, "Come down. Bloody frog, bloody porters in bloody Calais." That's CALAIS. Capitalized type.
It's a
have
place.
Made a muck of baggage.
Yes.
The campaign chests are well enough, but none of the bloody tack arrived.
Yes.
The fuck is that paragraph? What is it? I understood come down. And I think I know what tack is.
So, Sherry and Nathaniel are just arrived to Sherry's country seat, his home in the country.
Yes, I did get that.
Yes. They have been in Paris keeping peace after some sort of Napoleonic war/campaign that I can't even pretend to know anything about. But they stayed in Frogtown after the war to keep peace. So now they're coming back, and he's saying the stupid Frenchmen who are in charge of baggage and they're cavalrymen. So tack is the horse stuff.
Didn't know what it was. I thought it was the hard tack from boats that you eat that's hard. I ate it in middle school. We made it to learn about the Mayflower.
No.
What's up?
So
okay.
It's not that. It's the horse.
Here's the thing.
Equipment.
You don't need to explain this to me.
I'm just saying
that's the level at every sentence that I need explained to me.
Yeah, same.
That's a random sentence. That's not a overly complicated one.
I've got a few of those that I've plucked out.
Okay, great. Okay.
So then the next day, so he like bows over her hand and he thinks to himself, she gives him this sharpish look. Because there are things are always sharpish. And he's like, oh no, she knows. She can see the ladiness underneath the manness. But then it's not that at all. He's being paranoid. No, I would say she at this point because it's from her perspective. God damn it.
That's the thing.
So
let's just say Fleming or Nathaniel.
Okay, it's from Nathaniel Fleming's perspective, who is also Nora Fleming. Okay.
Yes.
So the next day at breakfast, they're breakfasting together. And Harriet's like, hey, P.S., I know why my fool brother brought you here, you marriageable age. What is his rank? Captain.
Yeah. It's on the cover, Melody.
I know,
Jeez,
right? God damn
it.
So, like, don't think I'm going to fall for it and don't think that, like, you're marrying me. And he's like, no, I'm just here because I have literally nowhere else to go. So, thanks. And then Sherry's outside hunting for grouse or something.
Yes.
And the gunshots get into his PTSD brain. And so between that and her being like, don't you think you're going to marry me? He like flees the room.
Mm-hmm.
So then she interrupts him playing the pianoforte. And she says that she needs an ally because her stupid whore cousin is coming. And I say that because she says that.
Let's talk about Dorcas the whore cousin. Can I read this paragraph? Yes. You guys, Dorcas the whore cousin. All right. So Lady Harriet goes up to Nathaniel Nora and is basically like, I need your help because my whore cousin is here.
Yeah, and I hate her.
And Nathaniel Nora is like, yeah, I'll hang out with you. But just Fleming is like, I'll hang out all day long, but I don't know how to do any of this shit. I can't play cards. I don't do small talk, which, fine. Sorry, that's one of my pet peeves is people are like, I don't do small talk. I only do deep good talk. Like, just hang out or draw or, do the lady. I don't do any lady stuff. This is Harriet's response.
Uh-huh.
Bother cards. I want the pianoforte. One word, apparently.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I want the pianoforte, so I needn't hear her speak. Mother is her life. Ah, the happy home. She has 7 living children, do you know? And if she'd gotten any of them by her husband, she'd be locked up with the French disease.
Yeah.
Are we to believe that Dorcas the cousin...
Yeah.
See, I have to, read that paragraph twice and then carry the one and, do some division. Dorcas the cousin has 7 kids, all of which are not with her husband because her husband has syphilis?
Yeah, and she has apparently never fucked him in Everdom, ?
Yeah, 7 kids. And also, they lock you up for having syphilis? Is that a thing?
I have no idea. Maybe because when you go mad?
Uh-huh.
Maybe they lock you up?
Also, when she exclaims, motherhood is her life, is it because Dorcas is only all about motherhood and Harriet is making fun of her for that? Or is she being sarcastic because she doesn't give a shit about her 7 illegitimate children?
I have literally no idea.
I don't know, because I think it's a joke, but I don't know what it's a joke is.
I don't know what is funny. Yeah, no, same.
Okay, all right, cool.
Okay, so
just so you know, this makes Nathaniel Nora laugh so hard.
So funny!
That he drops all his shit and, spits, and I was just like, what is it, though? What is this? I want in on it. I want to know.
And every time that smug goddamn Audible artist is like, on the goddamn Audible, I'm just like, tell me what joke is, though. Explain
joke.
By the way,
though, she's great. I believed that the Audible narrator was great. I felt like she wasn't my ally because she was never like, sup, Aaron, this is what this means. All right, it's me, Violet. Just me and you here right now. This was the joke. Because I need to know whether or not Nathaniel Nora is laughing because Dorcas cheated on her husband 7 times or hates her children or loves them too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Okay, so then they go to dinner with the fool husband and Dorcas the whore cousin and Sherry and the other 2. And there's talk of war. And Sherry keeps calling Nathaniel Spaniel. And they need that explained. So basically, it's
we need another name.
I know. I don't need it.
Talk to you about how handsome our currently male hero is?
Yes, please do.
Harriet knew him handsome enough, semicolon. But she would not have called it quite that, though his fair queue was smoothly drawn and not so silver-tipped as Sherry's, and his face was, well, it was. Hot stuff. Really getting you going right there. His face was, well, it was.
It existed.
Anyway, I get it because the author can't really describe him at this point super manly handsome because he is not a man. So I get it. But it was just kind of
I guess, but it's been over a decade that she's cast for a man among a metric fuck ton of men.
Well, it's really weird because if Harriet at this point was like, what a beautiful woman who I'm attracted. There's really no way for Harriet to...
Yeah.
I think that's the best the author could do at this moment for physical attributes and their effect on Harriet. Because later in the book, Harriet obviously finds out that Nathaniel is actually Nora and comes to be good with that and loves her for her feminine qualities like boobs. Mm-hmm. So if at this point she was like, ooh, look at those boobs, we'd be like, what?
Yeah, no, I know. Well, no, we find out a bit more about Harriet too, although it took me 2 reads to figure out what the fuck it was.
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, I know, right? So basically, he calls him Spaniel because at first when he was calling over the fields, he couldn't make Nathaniel come out of his mouth. So he would call him Thaniel. But then he became Spaniel when Sherry got super sick And Nathaniel, like, basically sunk his teeth in and, like, wouldn't let him die. He kept on nursing him back to health. And so at that point, he became a spaniel because he was like a dog with a bone, making him healthy or something. Anyway.
I didn't get it, but it was whatever.
So then there's this weird parlor scene in which the women are being women inside. And there's a horses and a hooves and a thunderous hoofing.
They go to the window. What's that hoofing?
What's the hoofing? And she leans out the window, Harry does. And she's like, "What do you down there, good sir?" And he's like, "Breaking a fucking horse, madam."
No. That is not what is said.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it went. So,
no. I believe that Nathaniel was endeavoring to something.
Stay
I don't
on.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so this horse is like doing laps around the house, and it's not doing great things. And then her stupid whore cousin. And I'm only saying that. I am only saying it like that because that is how she basically says it every time.
Oh my God, we could just call her by her given name Dorcas and have the same effect.
I know, poor Dorcas. Oh. But, like, literally every time, like, at dinner before, Dorcas was trying to ask questions, and she was like, "Oh, Nathaniel, don't bother asking, like, trying to converse with this dullard over here." Like, Dorcas sucks. And also, have I told you about her 7 illegitimate children? Like,
but
it's
like
a,
in
it's a lot.
defense, like Dorcas does suck.
She does suck. Yeah.
So
yeah. No, I know. It's a never-ending circle with these two. Yeah. It's just an ass eating its tail. Nope. A snake eating its tail.
But also, isn't a snake eating its tail like a religious something?
I don't know. It makes a circle and it keeps going.
Just say a circle. Why? Just say a circle. God, you don't have to be as complicated as the book.
Okay, pull it together, Melody. All right, so.
Sorry. I was playing like password. What's the game where you like pass the thing around and you try to get people to guess what the thing is that you're holding with the words? I don't remember. It's like charades, but you talk. But you just can't say the word. I think it's password. But somebody had the thing and it said vicious circle and they were trying to get people to say vicious circle. And everyone was yelling things like I knew what it was, but I wasn't on that team. And like David and the other people on his team were yelling things like mean sphere. Everything. I was just like, how do you not? Like, it was like manipulative oval, and they were being serious. Like, how is this possible? And they finally got circle, but they couldn't get vicious. They're like mean circle. Like, it was so weird.
Man, at least they didn't say ass eating its tail. Okay.
All right.
I could have turned that around too. Had I been quicker on my feet, I could have said, no, Aaron, you silly goose. I said asp eating its tail, but I didn't.
But also, like, I would have made even more fun of you maybe for that. Asp. Mm-mm.
Yeah, Cleopatra's snake.
I know what an
tail.
asp is. I got you. I know what it is.
I wasn't joke-splaining you. I was just...
You were.
I wasn't. Okay. Okay, sorry.
All right, Dorcas is a whore, and they're in the parlor. Basically, she, like, age shames her, I think.
Yeah, she does. She's like, oh, you've been let it off to roost for a while with your age and your shelfness.
I knew what a shelf was.
There we go. I know. Yeah. I knew that from 9 Rules to Break when romancing a rake. Thank goodness. Then she's like, well, I only have like 200 pounds a year or something, which I know from Sense and Sensibility is not very much. And then she's like, well, that's all. That's my only, I think, asset. And Dorcas is like, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-bum. Are you sure that's your only asset, cuz? And she's like shaking her titties at her and stuff. She's not. Basically.
I didn't know she was. I was like, really? Because there's a whole thing with slippers here that I didn't understand.
Slippers?
Yeah. For some reason, at some point, she yells, "Come now, eternal damnation for old slippers."
Oh no. I don't know what that means with or without
she might
context.
Go outside in her slippers?
Maybe, yeah, because after she's like, hey, you could use that body, though. She's like, well, 'cause I'm going for a walk because I hate you. So she does that. And then she goes a-walking, and he talks her into riding the horse that was
Nathaniel Nora does.
Yes. And I think what happens is he gets on the horse, and then he pulls her up so that she's sort of side saddle in front of him, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the scene ends, and it's done. But before that, he's like, oh, but I bet you could learn to ride astride as well. And then, like, sort of gets embarrassed about, I don't know what. Maybe it's the talk about listen, I don't know. So,
I think the word astride is very embarrassing, just generally. It's like, the legs spread apart in that one.
Yeah, I also think that she maybe says it in the context of, like, you could be broken to ride astride because he's thinking about breaking a horse, but then talking about breaking a lady is a badness. Listen, we don't know, you guys.
It's over. That scene's done. We're moving on.
We don't know.
Okay.
So then he entertains them on the pianoforte. Dorcas is being weird about singing and languages or something. Nobody knows.
Something about Dorcas.
That's right. And then
there's a horse outside to see him.
You guys, there's a horse. Malabar. Malabar, bar, Malabar, bar, Malabar.
Yes, this horse. Do you guys
Sherry
remember Pegasus
has rescued
from
his
One More
horse
Blue?
from the frogs? Yeah.
This
no,
horse,
don't ever mention that book again.
But listen, I posit that Pegasus did nothing wrong except survive.
Fair.
This horse is even more majestical than Pegasus and has survived
and even more
whatever
immortal.
French war we're in.
There are so many bayonets, you guys.
Can I talk about how when they rescued this horse from frogs, how confused I was?
No.
Like, I'm not kidding. Like, this isn't a joke for the podcast. Like, I couldn't. Like, I have heard French people called frogs one time in my life, and I had to look it up, and I promptly forgot it. Now I remember it, now that we're having this conversation.
I know.
And it was...
Man, the frogs had got her.
But yeah, I was like, certainly they cannot mean frogs. So this must just be like a weird English saying. I've been rescued from the frogs.
Right. No, I hear you. Swamps are a tricky business. And ponds, too. You don't want to get
David
near a pond.
Sedaris. It was David Sedaris who called French people froggies.
Oh, yeah, because he lived in Paris for a minute and wrote about it.
Like, what the hell is he talking about? And then I looked it up, and then now it's been 7 years. So,
okay, so they flirt over Malabar. Fleming is like, Sherry, you shouldn't have gotten me this. This is too much, and it's a costliness, and the whole thing. And Sherry's like, old friend, old codger, you. I got you the horse, and so now you'll have it.
They talk in French for a while.
They do. They
seem
speak
to
of
be
many Frenches.
English. I don't.
With a hatred of the French. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, so the next day, Fleming and Sherry are, I think what they're doing is taking their war horses for a man picnic.
What's comfits?
Like just the two of them?
What's a comfits?
Listen,
what's comfits?
It might be a pastry or a candy.
I can't tell if it's a pastry or a purse. Sometimes it seems to be a purse. Because here it seems like it's a candy. But then later, she's doing like a, do I have my phone and keys and like whatever. And she's like, oh, I'll just put this in my comfits. I'm like, what the fuck? That's a purse now?
Stop putting that in your candy.
Also, candy violets are very hard to make, and they're talking about giving them to a horse, or maybe that's a joke.
I don't listen.
All right, sorry. Anyway, continue with the plot. It's just something that I highlighted and put a big question mark by. What is comfits? And it will come back. Yes.
Fleming and Sherry are taking their war horses on a man picnic, I think.
Yes,
I don't know
what's
for
happening.
sure.
That is, I believe, what's happening. Because there is talk about how one of them has... They've dressed them all up in their battle horse gear.
They have?
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's part of it. Because
okay.
when... I think... So when Harry comes outside, she's like, whoa, you've got all your horses dressed up in their battle horse gear. And somebody says... we have to do this sometimes even in peacetime so that they can get used to it. And she's like, oh, okay. Can I get up on there? And they're like, no. This weighs 6 stone, which is just in England not England times thing, but I still don't know what
I think that's 14 pounds. A stone, I think, is 14 pounds. So 6 times 14, which is not math I'm going to do.
No. Anyways, so why is my brain trying to do it? Stop it. So then she wants to get on the horse and they're like, oh, we'll just shed some of this other weight.
Yeah.
And then one of them says, not me, because the lunch is in mine.
Sherry says that because he doesn't want a woman coming on their man picnic.
Well, he also says that the horse will, because it's a fancy war horse, will buck any woman that gets on it because it's for wars.
Yeah, we go over that later. Basically, Sherry is telling tales to keep her away from his horse or something.
Yeah, he says that any horse she comes near that's a war horse will eat her.
Eat her. Just
and
eat her right up.
Our dear heroine believes that. So I believe that it is a man picnic with gear. That's what I think.
Okay, fair.
They're going on a horse ruck with some food.
With some foods. Fair. So Fleming gets his pack off and he pulls her up, and then we don't even see the picnic. They just fuck off into, and then it's the next scene. That's the other thing. The scenes happen. So with the audible, all of a sudden, like, we're at church and stuff.
Yeah, I wish there would have been like a little doodly-doo between the scenes or something, because sometimes...
And there should have been music under the flashbacks, too.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, not the narrator's fault. I really did like the narrator.
Same. I mean, she didn't have any kind of English accent at all, which I thought was odd.
Which is also one reason I really liked the narrator. Sorry, English HBs, but sometimes when it's in an accent the whole time through, my brain, because it's not my accent, my brain can't latch onto it as well. So I appreciate, Yeah.
Okay, so then my next note is they go riding at 3 a.m.? Question mark?
Yes, but I liked it.
I did too, but I couldn't tell what time because she said things about lunch.
She said
or something.
3:30. She says it's 3:30.
Yeah, but then it's like talking about some sort of noonday meal somewhere in there too. So it took me a while to figure out it was 3 in the goddamn morning, but that's what it is.
3:30 in the goddamn morning.
Or maybe it's 2:30 because I don't remember what 3:30 is, whether it's before or after.
But basically, Fleming comes to her door at 3 a.m. In breeches?
No, with breeches.
No, with breeches. And then, sorry, I just like saying breeches like that. So then, like, taps quietly on her door, more so than what a dog would, but less so, like, she's very specific about the tap. Anyway, so there's a tapping, and then she's reading Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And gets up and answers the door. And he's all like, let's go riding on a horse. And she's like, it's 3 a.m. And he's like, well, I'd rather do it now so that your brother doesn't murder me in a duel, seeing me in the sunshine, teaching you how to ride a horse.
Right.
And she's like, well, I'm not wearing breeches and riding. I'm a lady. I'm the sister of an earl. And he's like, you're going to come with me and ride this horse, or I'm going to tell you how your book ends.
Yeah.
And that was kind of cute because she was like, tell me how my book
she's
ends.
Like, how dare you scoundrel.
Yes.
And it's very cute.
It was very cute. And mostly because I understood it. I was like, got it. Put it in my pocket. Banter. I understood that scene. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that happens. They talk about how Sherry's been lying to her about violent horses.
About how horses don't eat women, Harriet. I mostly liked Harriet, but this one was a little bit rough for me to...
But also, there are a couple of confusing things. First, she says that horse is naked, but then there's clearly stirrups in a saddle. So, like, are lady saddles bigger or more draped? Then he's like, do you lace, madam? And she's like, I don't lace at 3 a.m. And then he's like, Sherry has a corset?
I think
for riding?
Explain.
Tell me everything.
So, I believe she says that the horse is naked because it does not have a bit or any reins.
Oh, yeah, because she pulls on its mouth. Hey, guys, if you're riding out there, any of you, just check your bridle and how close you're holding the rein. Because there is 3/4 of you out there, I'm not going to lie, you're pulling too hard on your horse's mouth. I'm just telling you that. Stop it.
Or just don't use a bit at all.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
And apparently, Nathaniel Nora has seen her horse, which has apparently been murdered in the mouth by her.
Yeah. So she's afraid.
Yeah. Because she's afraid. So I think that's the nudity thing.
Okay.
I think that there is a corset that old-timey England men wore for riding to be posture. I don't know that from anything but context in this scene.
Okay.
So I think that Nathaniel Nora expected for Harriet to put her corset on before they went downstairs because you're supposed to wear a riding corset.
Nathaniel Nora, how did you expect her to do that in 3 minutes without a maid?
I don't know. Here's what I know is Nathaniel Nora touches Harriet on her back to get
and she feels it because she's not laced.
Yeah, to get her posture to get her to not, quote, sit like a pudding. Listen, Nathaniel Nora.
Some of us sit like a fucking pudding.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, and it's hot, okay? It's hot when I sit like a pudding.
That's
okay?
right. How dare you?
Yeah. Anyway. Like, don't sit like a pudding. Sit up straight. But she feels that touch, and she likes it.
It does things.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
So
end.
then she talks him into going to church.
Yes.
And there's talk of bootmen and superior officers that went right over my head. Then, church.
Wait.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, but when she
We
talks
had a
him into
motor.
going to church, she walks in on him getting ready in the morning,
Yeah.
and it's before
and he's only in his shirt sleeves.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but
I think it's just a shirt.
is there pants?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so it's
He
just
doesn't have
pants.
a coat on.
Okay, so we're he's
cravat
serving up
maybe.
Jamie
I don't
Fraser
know.
realness
Yeah.
with that open shirt situation. Okay, well, he can't be too open because he's got boobs.
He's got bandages. That we find out later.
Yes. So she walks in on Nathaniel Nora and without boots on because apparently Nathaniel Nora stuffs boots so that he can appear taller and more like a man.
bigger man. Yeah.
Yeah. And
'Cause he's got
also
little feet.
Nathaniel Nora's hair is down. And Harriet thinks
That's
that
right.
he looks like a woman in this
Okay.
scene. Yeah.
Okay.
So just
All right.
putting that out there. And I think she's kind of into it a little bit.
No, she's definitely into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been into it.
Yeah.
So then, at church,
The
my note
weirdest.
is
The weirdest.
Sherry talks him into escorting her in or out. It's out. That's my note.
They're walking home? I thought they were walking
Yeah.
too. Oh, God.
No, they're fucking walking home. I thought so too. Okay, so then she tells him to call her Harry. It's the Christian name thing.
Madam.
How dare you? What?
This is the weirdest shit ever.
Then she goes running.
But I do not like being at evens with you. It bores so. She considered a moment fiddling with her lily white Sunday tucker. She let go of his... What does it mean? She let go of his arm and said, Harry. Madam? My Christian name is Harry. She left him, indeed, on uneven footing all of a sudden. She looked at him for a moment. They did not differ much in stature, and her brown eyes were startlingly bright. And then she swept up her skirts and ran.
Yeah.
Who does that? Have you ever been like, call me Mel, and then just ran away? That's the weirdest thing.
HB's Get Ready at KissCon. I'm going to be like, it's Mel. Run away, run away, run away.
It's weird. And that means Melody likes you.
It does. So then he catches her and she's like, I won, but she's torn a hem. And then he sits down and he fixes it with his needle and thread because he's a soldier who did that in the war for himself and for Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
Then, all right, I have one of those things that I'm going to read because I had no idea what it means.
Okay.
It's like another day, right?
Mm-hmm.
She decides to go to the paddock because she had rather spend a quarter hour going uphill to the house than treading her business in Bornsea over with her cousin. What?
I don't know.
I don't know that. I don't know what that means.
I know
All I know
her
is that she's
cousin
going.
it's Dorcas.
Yeah, Dorcas the whore cousin.
She'd rather do something else than...
So she's going to the paddock. What happens is Nathaniel has a horse crash that I could not decipher.
No, there's a lot of stuff. I listened to it and read it, and I still didn't get it.
Same. All I know is that at some point he's on the ground and bleeding, and he will not let her nurse him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has a flashback to when he auditioned for the cavalry in front of Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in Nathaniel's, and she's in Nathaniel's coat and boots.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sherry accepts him to the cavalry. And then he wakes up in the barn again, and she has brought...
You got this.
Thank you. She has brought him apples, and my note is, where he sleep in honey bandage.
Yes.
Because that's what he did. He bandaged himself right up. So then they talk about Sherry being a good friend and how, like, he's keeping the horse for him and how he couldn't afford to have Malabar otherwise. And she's like, I feel like I know you so well. And he's like, well, do you want to know me better? And then at the end of that interaction, he gives her his coat and then presumably sleeps in the barn more. I honestly don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay. So then this never comes back. The next scene is he goes to the library. He's rifling through some papers. He's rifling through some papers. HBs.
Broadsheets, moldy ones.
Moldy broadsheets. I think those are newspapers. I don't know, though.
I thought they were like the bookkeeping of the place.
Maybe.
Because then she talks about no one's read broadsheets around here for so long. And then she talks about how when her brother was gone, Sherry was gone to the war, the place was in disarray. And I was like,
that's
okay.
What this is. She's a low-key writer. She wrote these like Adventure Time stories that she sold to a newspaper, I think, or a broadsheetery under some sort of a pseudonym. A pen name. A nom de plume. Because I can speak French sometimes.
Yeah. What? We speak French too, Jeannelle.
Yeah. Jeannelle.
I thought that these were the record-keeping pages of the place.
Yeah.
And on the
it was
backs,
showing her income.
No, I thought she was writing on the back of them. Like, because they were being used. And she used that for her paper.
Fair.
God, I'm a moron.
No, you're not a moron. This is very hard to decipher for us non-England times modern ladies.
Watch, these HPs are going to read this book. They're going to be like,
these bitches are so dumb.
Yeah, they're idiots.
I know. I'm fine with that, you guys. Sometimes we're idiots. Okay. So basically, she's like, you're so impressive, and I can't believe you're writing all of these, like, Adventure Time stories. And then they hear a clippity-clop outside of the thing. Dorcas, the whore cousin, is afoot.
Sorry.
Justice for Dorcas, like a little bit. A little bit hashtag.
No justice for Dorcas.
A little bit.
She has 7 illegitimate children.
I don't give a shit. You get your sex on, Dorcas.
She's married. I don't know.
Don't fuck your syphilitic husband. Don't do that.
But also,
that's not
Harriet for
safe.
no reason.
Yeah, she's me. Well, Harriet's pretty fast and loose with the "you're an idiot," remarks. So, like,
I don't know. Yeah,
I feel like this is a double situation. Little bit of justice for
what? It's a double
beautifully
situation?
sex
What else
positive.
would you call it? Like would it be? Say some
I don't
word.
think it's a double-edged sword. I don't think it is. Maybe it's an asp eating its own tail.
Is it a snake with 2 fangs sharp on both sides?
Maybe it's a snake with a scorpion tail.
Oh. Ooh. Could it just be a scorpion? Because this situation is a scorpion. Dorcas and Harriet.
Okay, sorry, here we go. So they're like, we have to get away before Dorcas comes and sees us, and we have to talk into her ear holes. And so she's like, secret passage. And I thought, like the Duckies book. So I think maybe some duckies are going to come out. Aaron, do you think duckies are going to come out? Do you think they came out?
I literally thought she jumped out the window.
No. No, Aaron.
I thought she jumped out the window. Isn't this where they go on the roof and she jumped off the window?
No, they take a secret passage up a stairwell up onto the roof. Like that Highlander times
I was
book.
listening to this. I was dusting my bedroom, and I thought she climbed out the window and then did like a climb onto the roof. And I was like, Harriet.
No.
Oh.
No. They could have done a murder, but instead they went out to the roof. And then no duckies come out, you guys. Just FYI.
No duckies.
Instead, they talk about lady injustice and how they don't get to do anything.
It is a very good combo.
Yeah, she talks about wanting to shoot. Okay, so I'm going to read this part because this is a monumental time. Okay, ready? You cannot understand, fumbled Harriet, before the wind could snatch the words away. What it is to be scorned for weakness, to be left behind, to be made invisible. she was not invisible now. Captain Fleming had shed his 7-league stare and looked for all the world as if he did understand. And then a little while later, a moment's fumbling, lips against teeth, chill noses all out of place, and Captain Fleming's fingers went loose in her hair. Harriet slid her own hand into his queued curls, rested her cheek against his, and would not let him shrug away. With the second kiss, he recalled the art, how two people fit and breathe together, and then he pulled back, his look when he met her eyes, half daring, half stunned. "Nathaniel," she spoke, and felt him shiver. "Again, please."
Yeah, because he was bad at it.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah, my note is kiss on roof. Only indication is clash of teeth.
Yeah. That reminded me of that time where on The Bachelor one, Pablo made out with the opera singer. Is that Charlene? I don't remember. And they had like a real bad kiss, like real bad, like train wreck bad. It was hard to watch. And then she's like, "Can I try it again?" And then the second one was worse. Oh, but yeah, that's what it reminded me of. It was a bad kiss. Noses in the wrong place. Where were the noses?
They remembered the art of two bodies fitting together and stuff. But
yeah, eventually.
Yeah. Just they had to get back in the swing of things. Really,
it was a real nice conversation about lady rights, and
it was
because she says, I wish I would have been a man so I could go to war. And Nathaniel reminds her that she could have died. And she's like, but at least I would have learned cool things and done cool things. And he's like, I'll teach you the cool things. And she's like, it doesn't matter if you teach me the cool things.
Yeah.
I'm still a woman. And
yeah,
I liked it.
I did too. Okay, so then Spaniel is drunk in Sherry's lounge.
Wait, Spaniel?
Spaniel. He calls him Spaniel, man.
Wait, he's drunk?
Nathaniel. Spaniel.
Nathaniel's drunk?
Nathaniel is drunk. Yeah, for the first time in forever, because we've heard that he doesn't like getting drunk.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, he doesn't like losing his wits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as we'll find out, because it's like the worst thing in the possible world if he ever loses his wits.
Yeah,
he's hiding too much.
Yeah.
So, like boobs. All right, so Sherry is like, "Methinks you must have girl troubles." And Spaniel's like, "Never would I ever. I'm just here for a racing saddle and a fast horse." And then Sherry's like, "It's girl troubles. A ball will help with that. I'm funding a ball."
Mm-hmm. But he also is like, "Oh, you want my racing saddle and my schmur and my tack and a lot of words I don't know? You may as well take my sister too." And he's like,
"Oh yeah,
I did take."
And Spaniel's like,
on the roof a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, right up there on that roof. I got our duckies out. He didn't.
He jumped up off the window and scaled the side of the building.
Okay. Man,
I read it and listened to it.
No, I know. I'm a little bit sad that I'm gonna be demystifying this a tiny bit for you, because I think it's a much more exciting book. With the way that you interpreted it.
That makes me feel dumb.
No, you shouldn't. I had to read it like 3 times to figure out what was going on. Okay. So then Sherry sees a figure in breeches shooting a weapon. And he's like, "Get your butt down on your heels." And he's coaching him how to shoot. But then it's Harriet. And he's like, "Harriet, how did you get my weapon? What are you doing?" And he finds out that Nathaniel is teaching Harriet to shoot. And Sherry at first is not at all into it, but then he comes around, which is foreshadowing. Mm-hmm. Okay, now to the ball. Are you ready for the ball?
Yeah,
it's ball. It's a country dance.
Okay, thought you meant the bullet type.
No, nah.
You were talking about shooting, and somebody said something about taking a ball in the shoulder, and I had to read that 15 times to figure out what it meant.
No, I hear you.
Here we are.
I know.
Here we are. We're at the ball.
I know.
The ballroom.
Well, yeah, because that's a good point. They do talk about Nathaniel's wound at Orthez ? Where he got shot in the shoulder. That'll come back, you guys. Okay. So she and Dorcas are sniping at each other about Nathaniel. Dorcas is like, "Don't forget who you are. He's a captain with 0 monies." And then she says something like, "You can't go after him." And Harriet looks over at Dorcas and she's like, "Why? Did you want him, whore?" And Dorcas like fucks off real pissed. And she's like, I'm going to pay for that later because Dorcas is going to spread rumors and lies and whatever. Or just the truth, Harriet, maybe. Okay?
Yeah.
Maybe keep your enemies closer, Harriet. Yeah. Right?
Maybe you did some whoring on the roof a little bit, Harriet.
Maybe you got your duckies out, Harriet.
She didn't get her duckies out.
She didn't. But listen, she could have.
We would have told you if she did.
We would have. Yeah. Okay. So then she finds him in a barn or a field. And then my note is no, a tree. Wait. My note is no bear tree. And I have no idea why. Listen.
Bear?
I don't know. Okay, there's no bear. Leanne,
Okay.
Don't get excited.
Yeah.
So they're like in a field, but they're like by the oak or something. I don't know why he's out there. He talks about doing things with horses. And then she gets up real close to him, and then there's like a finger on a cheek. And then the important part about all this is that he kisses her like a man home from war.
Oh, yeah.
And then somehow we're back in the ball.
Yeah.
So we took a little walkabout side. I don't know why we did that, but now we're back in the ball.
Yes.
And there's music, and there's people.
Mm-hmm.
And she tries to get intel on Sherry that is really awkward because Sherry drinks a lot now, and he's haunted,
by the ghosts of the French War time.
That's the one. And she's like, did he have a woman over there? How did my brother fuck while at war?
What she says is, did he have a woman in Paris? That's all she said. Do not let Melody convince you that she said the words, how did my brother fuck? All right. She's just thinking that maybe he was lovesick a little bit. And then
that's a fun interpretation, Aaron.
She's talking about how he's sad and he's drunk now.
I'm kidding.
That's the only way to take it. That's literally the only way to take it.
I know. Okay. So basically, they.
Anyway, so Nathaniel Nora, after a while, finally says,
"Oh wait, no." After a while, and what she's blah blah blahing right here is both of them burning Dorcas real good about being a slut.
I don't remember it.
They keep on with the Dorcas as a horror commentary.
Oh, I don't remember
all
that.
throughout this. Yeah, and then they dance, and Nathaniel's like, "Yes, Sherry had a lady. The lady is dead, so he can't marry her." And that's sad. It also never comes back.
No. Good. I didn't think it did, but I wasn't sure. Okay, cool.
No. Also, I don't remember when, but Sherry talks about stealing a woman from Nathaniel.
Mm-hmm.
And like that kind of comes back, but nothing else. Okay. So now it's the middle of the night, you guys. And she finds him crying in the window seat. He's sobbing. He's a sobbing mess. He's had a PTSD bad night.
Yes.
And so then she like sits down with him in the window seat, and eventually he falls asleep. And then he wakes up screaming and like striking out at her. He misses, thank goodness. And then Aaron is nodding like this is all new information.
It is. I remember the window seat, and I remember her saying, look at me and not the ghosts of the dead or something like that.
Yes.
And everything else is new.
And now this is where Nathaniel Nora fucks off via the window. Now he climbs out the window. Harriet does not, though.
I thought that this was the same window. I thought they were at the same window and like they,
No, he leaves by the window. Yep. Okay, so then later on, he finds her in a deserted part of the house and she's writing letters maybe. I don't remember what she's doing. And he's like, lady, I need to leave to London because I need to fix up a house that my sister has given me leave to occupy or something like that. And so she's like, you're leaving so soon? You're leaving Bournesey or Bournebrook or whatever the fucking house is called? And he's like, yes, I am. And she's like, well, you'll write to my brother, won't you? Because they're not allowed to write. Bachelors and single ladies are not allowed to write.
I remember one time, I forget when they were hanging out, that she didn't light the candle that you're supposed to light that tells how long you've been alone with a man.
Yeah.
A marked candle or something like that.
A marked candle.
I knew what that was when she said that. I'm
really proud of you.
There was one at Mount Vernon, maybe. I don't know. Some history place I went to.
Yeah, one of those history places. Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so then as they're walking out of the house, or like out of the deserted part, I don't fucking know, they go by these paintings, and they're of her 3 sisters, and they're like Hestia and Honoria and another H name, and she's like, all of my sisters died in the child bed while they were child bedding, and so that's why I don't want to get married, because I will inevitably also die giving birth.
Oh,
and it's really sad.
I remember this.
Yeah, and then out of fucking left field, Nathaniel Nora looks at her and he's like, I'm really sorry for your loss. Also, FYI, you would be in 0 danger if you married me.
I don't have a penis for you.
She didn't say that. She said, it becomes an issue later. She said, I can never give you children, even if you want them. Dun, dun, dun. So then he gets out. He leaves. He fucks off to London. Then
I
there's
don't
this
think
whole...
that was that out of left field, because they've made out twice now, so they're pretty much engaged.
Yeah, they
This is
definitely
England
are.
times. I mean, she's waiting for a proposal at this point.
No, you're totally right. You're totally right. Okay.
Except that, so if I were in Nathaniel Nora's shoes and I was with this lady who was probably expecting a proposal but was telling me I don't want to get married and tried to broadcast the fact that, like, she doesn't want one, I would want to tell her that if I proposed to her, she would still be safe saying yes.
That's true.
I would also want to tell her, I'm a woman. I have been this whole time. I probably shouldn't propose to you before you know that.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
But we'll just push pause on that one.
Put a pin in that one.
Because now it becomes an epistolary romance, which is a term I learned this year.
What is it?
It's a romance via letter writing.
Oh, I knew that. We read one.
Yeah. Yep. Did we?
Let's Get Textual was an epistolary.
Oh, I guess it was technically an epistolary
Episcopalian romance.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay, so then all of a sudden Harry is like, I'm writing to you now. I hope you don't think that's too forward and too blah, blah, blah. So then here's a paragraph for you. So after they start writing, it says, it was never more than a handful of days after that before a letter arrived. Eleanor kept them tucked into the slats of the box bed in the chamber she had taken for herself. As October raced toward Guy Fawkes night, I had to press pause on the Audible to be like, remember the 1st of November. Because I had no idea what that meant.
There's so much weird references to, like, England times songs and England times holidays and England times nights and 12th nights and 5th nights
Batman.
and 7th nights and Batman. And when she said Guy Fawkes night, and I was like, I know that date. I know when, like, I looked around my empty house to be like, can I tell anybody that that's the one
right.
I know?
That's right.
Yeah,
it took me a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't understand anything else in that paragraph.
Yeah, wait, no, I'm not done. Okay, as October raced toward Guy Fawkes night, that did not suffice. The earliest ones she bound up and stowed in her campaign chest, hidden safe among her mother's things, until she found a small hoard of coin in her grandmother's Sunday box. Eleanor's diet tended sharpish toward brown bread and postage. So, I thought that meant she was eating stamps. But that's
what's a Sunday box? I don't want to know
what a Sunday box is. It's a box. It's a
if
different
we
kind
ever
of,
on this podcast say the word Sunday box, we're talking about something dirty.
We're talking about pussies, you guys.
On this Sunday.
That's right.
Sabbath.
Church pussies.
Sabbath pussies. All right.
Okay.
At least Sabbath pussies is deep in the middle of this episode, so hopefully only our true fans will hear it. Hopefully only like 2,000 people heard me say.
That's the one. Okay.
Okay.
So then she writes Harry a letter that says, I don't have any prospects and I have no monies and I don't have a penis, but I haven't told you that yet. However, can I court you? And Harry is so cute. Harry writes back with no greeting, no words other than a big fat yes. It just says yes.
Yeah.
Because now they're going to go a-courting. She's going to be a courted.
Bullshit on Nathaniel Nora's part. Felt like...
Why?
She needs to know she's a woman. before she agrees to be courted by her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I know from various Sense and Sensibilities that if you get courted and there's no proposal at the end and everybody knows you're courting and you're a damaged good.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
That's true.
And you're not going to get proposed to. And in Harriet's situation, I don't know that matters so much because she shared that she doesn't want to get married, but she at least has the right to know. Well,
she's also 28.
Yeah.
So she's technically a spinster, I guess, which is crazy to me. But yeah.
It's apparently embarrassing to date someone and not get a proposal at the end. And
that's true.
Even if she maybe doesn't want to get married, she maybe doesn't want to get embarrassed either.
That's true.
And so I think she had the right to know before the courtship. And
yeah, I agree with that.
Certainly before the engagement, Nora.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
But we have pressed pause on that.
And before the smooches, honestly.
I mean, I'm okay with this.
Can you consent to a smooch with somebody when you don't know? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Because it was like so firmly binary at that point. Like there wasn't, in England times, I guess
it's something that so she was smooched by Nathaniel and everybody knew about it for whatever reason. Maybe they got caught in England.
Dorcas.
Times. Yeah, whatever. It's not that bad if she gets caught smooching a guy. It's a little bit bad. She's a little ruined. However, if later Nathaniel is found out as Nora, that's the end of Harriet. Like, as a person. Like, she's no longer able to, like, socialize with anyone ever again.
Well, and technically, it is illegal at that point.
Yes,
being a gay man is a hanging offense. Being a gay woman would, like, get you, I think, the pillory, they said.
Yeah,
technically, they could be hanged, but I don't think it was done in practice. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I think maybe not. At that time, I think it's tantamount to like wearing a mask or saying you're a person that you're not. Like I get in like current times when things are pretty fluid and like but back then I think she could not consent to a kiss without knowing.
Well, especially since a kiss is like pre-engagement. It's like not a thing you throw around. You're totally right. Yeah.
I thought Nathaniel Nora was a pretty big asshole for giving her that smooch twice.
Fair. Okay.
All right.
So it's Christmas tide times. And Harry and Sherry.
5th night.
It's those.
First night.
That's the one.
Camel night. Oyster ice cream night.
Wise men night.
Yeah, wise men night.
That's the one.
Myrrh.
Frankincense.
Myrrh is my favorite one. Myrrh.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll just use any excuse there is to talk about the Mount Vernon camel. You know it. I know it.
Everybody knows it, Aaron.
Everybody knows it. They brought it there on a boat.
Okay. Harry and Sherry are in London town, and they're at a salon party of some sort. Fleming is playing, and Harry approaches, and Sherry apparently knows that they've been canoodling various ways because of Dorcas. So, the next day, Sherry confronts Spaniel, and he is not pleased. And he's like, I don't want you carrying on with my sister. And he goes, Spaniel, you kissed her. And then Spaniel goes, I? The captain gazed up, surpassing unruffled. Kissed her hand, at least, in my sight, and she is a lady gently bred, and I dare say a friend. Friend nothing. Think you I have abstained long enough to mistake a woman thoroughly kissed? Your house is This is where I lost it. I was okay up until now, but this is where I lost it. I have no idea what this means. Your house is shored up at the beams by kissing boughs. It might have been a dozen beaux, with nothing to do, as every girl at the party was launched at your head. What? Who?
Who is saying what to who? So that's Nathaniel talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Nathaniel Nora is saying to the other one, Sherry, you smooch a lot.
No.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. No, but he doesn't. That's the whole thing. In the scene previous, he's
basically like, you live in a house built on kissing with so many kisses to support it, and all the girls were putting their faces on your faces. Is that not what it is?
Oh, that could be what it is.
That's what I think. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
But it doesn't bow with nothing to do. does that mean he's saying that it could have been any of a dozen dudes kissing up on Harry? Is he throwing her under a bus right now? Because all the ladies are going after Sherry?
That's not how I read that, but I don't know how I read that. I think I read that as nothing.
I don't know that I did read that, honestly.
70% of this book meant nothing to me.
I know. I tried so hard.
It's just time that I'll never get back, that I just stared at words that meant nothing to me. It's just nothing time in my life.
It's a sweet story once you get through the England Times jargon, but it's like, you got to get your machete out, man, to just hack through those weeds.
I think we're going to do 2 episodes on this book, Melody.
Yeah, I think so too.
I hate it.
I think so too.
How did that happen?
Listen, it happens sometimes.
Well, you don't have to like sit me down and pat me on the head and tell me that we sometimes have to do 2 episodes. I've been there, I know. Man. Okay.
I know. I wasn't expecting to be this funny.
I didn't.
That's the biggest problem.
I've been dreading this episode all week because I'm like, I have nothing to say because I
don't know what to say.
What happened?
I know.
Instead, we just said, we don't know what happened for an hour and 15 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, HBs. There's another one on the way. What's up?
Wait, we can get to the proposal at least, and then we can be done.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what's up. All right. He's basically like, at the end of this tete-a-tete, which I think is a thing. I honestly don't know what that means either. I shouldn't say words. I don't know what that means. At the end of this confrontation, Sherry's like, you just need to be careful not to ruin my sister. Come eat a roast pig. We roasted a pig because it's Christmas. That's like almost verbatim, you guys.
Yeah.
And then
it's not because it's Christmas. It's like roast pig. Christmas.
Yeah.
Like the way that the roast pig is brought up is like, well, you know how we have that roast pig. Christmas.
Right. Christmas. Yeah, it's great.
I thought it was hams. Well, that is a pig. But I didn't think it was like a whole pig. I thought it was just the ham part.
Pig roast. You had your pig roast at the wrong time. You didn't know.
Oh,
now
well,
you know.
We're going to have a Halloween pig roast this year.
Whoa. Cool. Okay.
Creepy, mostly for the pig. Sorry,
creepy
vegetarians.
Pig roast.
Yeah, sorry.
Ghostly pig roast.
So haunted by the pig.
We're gonna hang some synthetic webs on a pig roast.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Okay. So then there's a night in England town. Nope, London town, where she's like, I'm going to propose. And there's this whole scene in which she talks to another dude about talking to Harry. Right. And she's like, I have a thing I need to say to her. I have a thing that I could say to her, probably. And then she goes through the door. This sentence happens. It says, Fleming had several heartbeats time to think on the provost marshal, the pillory, Harriet's cut direct, semicolon.
I know.
She thought she had steel enough for all but the last.
I know what a provost marshal is. That's a
what's
cops.
a provost marshal?
That's cops.
Okay.
We have those in the military. Oh, actually, she's talking about court marshals. What up? I know about court marshals. I know what a provost marshal is.
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's
she's
cops.
talking about being court-martialed. Great. Mm-hmm. Yes, because they would maybe find out that she's a lady, which would be against military-ness. Oh, man.
I've never celebrated harder.
Dance.
My shoulders are going. I don't know that it's a military thing. Let me Google it so you can cut it if it's not. You're not going to, though, because you never cut it when I look stupid.
I don't cut it when I look stupid either.
No,
we're just transparent with the listener.
That's our brand.
Okay,
that's
our
brand.
It is. Unfortunately, we're just two ladies bumbling the fuck around. So Harriet's cut direct, I think, is like a rebuke or a it is a court martial.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so she's basically saying, I'm fine with being punished.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have the stones to be rejected by Harriet.
But what she should be thinking about is
being transparent with Harriet and letting her make a decision.
Honest,
educated decision.
Her girlfriend. And also that Harriet could well be punished. You know, maybe Nora's cool getting punished by court martial or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just as much of a crime for Harriet to be smooching up on her. Yeah. And Harriet doesn't know. Mm-hmm. Not okay.
I know. And they've tossed around the phrase on dit, like 17 times because Dorcas has been running her mouth. I finally broke down and looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's one says in French, which means like a rumor or gossip or whatever. So she's like, this has become an on dit. French Times. And so
this
there
is
you
not
go.
a French Times book. There is
It's not.
no such thing as French Times. Okay.
No, it's a smattering French Times book. They
This is a
smatter
time
it
travel book,
all
if
the way
anything.
through.
All right.
That's right. Okay. So
earlier you said Adventure Times. These are times that are not canon. I just want to know.
Oh my God, I'm so
that
sorry.
Melody just keeps talking about times, and I don't want anyone to think this is canon because it's not. The end.
Aaron is in charge of the Times canons.
Yes. Thank you.
So I will not shoot any times anymore out of our cannons. Okay. Okay, so then the next day, all of a sudden, they're in like a library or somewhere more casual with less people around, and then she finally does propose.
Yes.
So the proposal finally happens. She talks about like making a mare's nest of it, which I thought was both charming and completely unintelligible, but it was fine. Then she does propose, and Harriet's like, yes, I will marry you. And then Spaniel's like, great, let's go tell Sherry. And she's like pulling her by the arm out
We'll
the door.
make this a 12th night to remember.
Yeah, that's the one. And then Harry's like, but wait, we gotta fuck first. So then they like start kissing up.
They say, let's go. No. Nathaniel Nora says, let's go tell Sherry and make this the best 12th night of your brother's life.
All of them.
And Harriet says, let's do that in a little bit. Please spend half an hour with me. Let's pass half the hour. She does not say fucking. She just says,
pew.
just visit with me.
Fireworks.
Oh my
fucking
God.
times. That's not what
But then, what does Harriet do?
Ooh.
Starts the fucking. So maybe that's what she means. I don't know.
So they're making Tiatskis on a beanbag somewhere, I think.
No.
And then
when did you become me? On a beanbag? In England times?
England has beanbag. What are they going to do with those black beans? What are they going to do with those chickpeas, I ask you?
Eat them.
Put them in a bag.
All right. Guys, Melody lost her shit.
Okay,
they're
so
making out.
Yeah.
And guess
then
what? It turns out
Harry
Nathaniel
puts
has
her
no
hand down
dick
her pants
whatsoever.
Yeah,
it's
she
not
goes
there. She goes down there.
So Harry puts her hand down his breeches and finds a muff there instead. And then she freaks out, you guys. It is... I want to hope I wouldn't, but fuck, it would be surprising.
England times, you would freak the fuck out.
I know. But it's like bad.
This does not have to do with England times woke or present day times wokeness.
No.
I see you wringing your hands, but no, you would freak the fuck out in England times. Listen.
Yeah.
I think it's more because I feel like to Harriet would be she's so like, she's an Earl's sister. Like, she's very proper and like rules and stuff.
Yeah.
I felt that so Nathaniel has already said, I can't have kids, just FYI.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly thought her first reaction was going to be, he lost his penis in the war. Like, I honestly thought she was going to be like, oh, so that's why you can't have kids, is your penis was lost? And then he was going to have to be like, no, I'm a lady. But no, she jumps right to lady. Probably.
Yeah, so she's like, get away from me, get off.
Oh,
like
she's
you've
like,
been a
stand
lady this
away
whole
from
time.
me, sir. I mean, madam.
Yeah. And then it says, Eleanor had reached to comfort Harriet.
Who is Nora?
Without thinking. Exactly. Eleanor Nora. And so then she's like, Harry, wait, cry you mercy. And Harriet caught a ragged breath. Oh God, I can't bear it. You had my heart. And I was every moment deceived.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, that's true.
Yes.
And then she says, we are at an end, sir, madam.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
I think this is also the appropriate time to say, I do not think this is a transgender book.
No, it's not. No.
Because I don't think that Nora at any time
I think it was presented to us.
Yes.
I don't remember.
I think I remember. I know I've read something that says this is about a transgender woman, but I do not believe that to be the case.
No, she refers to herself as she, her all the time in her inner monologue. And we find out later she only takes up her brother's commission because she essentially had no choice. And because she had sort of been like brought up with the boys already. So
I think she just enjoys the freedoms of being a man and the clothing and the things she gets to do and all those things that Harry had also yearned for.
Right.
So I just want to, because we're like doing sirs and madams and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to make sure we're all clear. I'm certain from this narrative that this is a book about lesbians and not a
Nora
man and a woman.
Identifies as a cisgender lesbian woman. Yes. So then she approaches her in the salon a little bit later and she asks if they can just like write for friendship's sake. And Harry says they can't be friends. And Nora says, "You hate me so much then." And she goes, "I don't hate you. I don't know you." And then they walk out of the salon, Aaron. And then she's like,
I was there.
"You forget yourself, sir." And she's like, "I forget myself. I wasn't the one with my hand down my pants." And then she tosses Punch in her face, you guys. She tosses Punch in her face.
Yeah. And she like punches her in the nose.
Oh, yeah. In the salon.
No, you're not talking about
when they
that.
were making out.
So when she found out that she was actually a woman, she punched her in the face, you guys, and broke her nose.
Yeah, she was bleeding everywhere.
Okay, and now
Nora
she tosses Punch in her face. But just FYI, I feel like tosses Punch in her face could be a way that this book phrases punched her in the face. Just
that's
saying.
true.
So that's
what
I thought you were referring to.
No, you're right.
Okay.
All right, and so that's where we're going to end this episode.
I'm going to have to read it again.
You're not going to have to read it again. I'm going to tell you the plot.
Okay.
In the next episode.
Anything that happens.
That's fine.
Feel like go to a
the next episode is going to be one in which Melody tells Aaron what happened. And I'm going to do my best to be accurate. I am not making no promises, though.
I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Aaron. Do you have a lady love? I have a lady love.
Okay, good.
If you do not,
I will think about it.
My lady love is an oldie but a goodie, and that is
crotchless
Tracy Chapman.
Oh. I thought you were going to do a callback.
Tracy Chapman, you guys. Yeah. No, Tracy motherfucking Chapman. I have been in a Tracy Chapman mood lately, and so I've just been having Alexa play me some Tracy Chapman songs. And oh my God, she is just good for the soul. So, yeah, that's it. And I have another lady love, and that is Lizzo's VMA performance in front of a giant inflatable ass.
It was good.
I just. Oh.
All right.
Those are my two things.
So going off of your Tracy Chapman one, I have sometimes talked, well, I think it was maybe on our Patreon. That's what I call it now after reading this book on a Patreon episode of my love for my brother and me, the Bim Bam Maximum Fun podcast network podcast. God, I could have said that a lot better. So episode 413 is called Faster Car, where they talk about the Tracy Chapman song Fast Car, and then they sing a song
got a
about
fast car. What? Go ahead.
They sing a song about like the sequel, I think, to that song called Faster Car, and it is very funny. So if you're listening to Tracy Chapman for Melody's Lady Love this week, listen to that episode of My Brother and Me, episode 413, Faster Car. It's very funny.
Excellent. All right, listener, here's the thing. You can find us on social media all over the fucking place. And if you haven't given us a like or like followed us or whatever, you're missing out, is what I'm telling you. Yeah. So come join the fun.
It's your loss. It's your loss.
On Twitters, we are at heaving_bosoms. On Instagram, we are at Heaving Bosoms. On Facebook, we are Heaving Bosoms Podcast. Then we have the Heaving Bosoms Podcast Geriatric Friendship Cult, which I love to its marrow. And then Aaron has made us a beautiful website that is called www.heavingbosomspodcast.com, where there are links to our Patreon. If you want to just go straight to the Patreon, that's patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast. Then we also have merch on Redbubble, which you can find through our website. And I feel like that's fucking it.
Yeah. all of these things you can find if you go to the website and you go to the drop-down menu, you can get like the HB Reading Embrace, the merch, the Patreon, all the social media. Like that's a hub. It's not always up to date episode wise, but at least you can find all those things.
And Erin made a link tree on our Instagram bio, which continues to be incredible. So you can find it there too. Yeah. All the things.
And on our Twitter, I think.
Sure.
Also, guys, listen. The bribe has not been fruitful as of late. Like, I know some of you are waiting for your bribe.
You're
books,
new.
Like, a year and a half. Listen, hey,
it's years long, you guys.
Yeah, but here's the thing: review us on iTunes, just out of the kindness of your heart, because having reviews on iTunes really helps us for getting new listeners and for getting other podcasts to take us seriously and getting advertisers to take us seriously, because they can't look at our download numbers to know that we're serious. All they can do is look about how many reviews we have on iTunes. So it's really the only thing we can present to the world besides how many Twitter followers we have that says this is the number of people that listen to this podcast. So it helps people find us and it helps us get credibility. So please, out of the goodness of your heart, or for the bribe, but just know you're going to be waiting a long time. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I would love to see our Apple Podcast review number go over 400. That would be incredible.
Are we close? Aren't we like in the 370s?
We're close-ish, yeah. So it's an attainable goal. I'm only working on attainable goals lately because that is what's best for my mental health.
That's a lady love as well.
Yeah, attainable goals, bitches. Do that. So yeah, it really helps us. And actually, if you want to review us on whatever your podcatcher of choice is, if you can't get to Apple Podcasts, that also just like warms our heartstrings. And sometimes it's super needed. So yeah. If you have things you want us to review, send us an email at heavingbosompodcast@gmail.com and we will read it and probably consider it. Okay, so keeping a badass and love yourself.
As much as you love getting away from those frogs, like they are just jumping, ribbiting, sticking their tongues out and trying to catch you like a fly.
They're being all slimy.
Oh, yeah, they're slimy. They got warts. If you can get away from those frogs, you're doing well.
Thank goodness somebody saved Malabon.
Goodness, why are they capitalized? Now I know. Frogs with a capital F. Now I understand.
Yeah, that's right. Love yourself that much.
Right. Yeah, that much.
It's a lot.
All right.
Okay, love you. Love you. Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.